Hi, I'm Nicole along with Jen from babyfit.com. We're both certified prenatal fitness specialists, and in this video we're going to lead you through a short core workout that's going to target the abs using a stability ball. It's important that first you have clearance to exercise from your doctor before you try this workout, and it is appropriate for all 3 of your trimesters. And these exercises were actually designed by a physical therapist who specialized in pregnancy and postpartum fitness. But before we get started, it's really important that you understand that these exercises are progressive. There's going to be 4, actually 5 if you count the breathing at the beginning, exercises, and you have to master the first one in excellent form before you move on to the next one. So they're going to get harder as they go. So we're going to start. First, I want to describe the position that Jen's in right here. She has her feet flat on the floor, her knees bent, and she's propped up with her elbows directly underneath her shoulder, her forearms and hands flat to the floor for support. So really, it looks like she's leaning into this ball, but she's barely leaning into the ball. She's propping herself up on the arms and then placing a small ball or whatever size that you may have at the corner of the wall so she can relax the tops of her shoulders and her head and neck into it. Okay, so that's the proper position. We're going to start first maintaining this position just nice and relaxed with a basic breathing, and technically this is the first exercise, so once you master this you're ready to move on to the next. So we want to think about taking deep breaths in through the nose, and as you breathe in your rib cage expands but your belly doesn't. Okay, as you exhale you pull those abs in. Okay, so it's an inhale and you're minimizing any kind of lift there with the belly. As you exhale through the mouth you're pulling that belly in tighter. So it takes a lot of control to not breathe into the belly, but by breathing this way in through the nose and push that air out through the mouth, you're helping yourself to target those deepest abdominal muscles, the transverse abs that run across the belly. Okay, so let's try a few breaths like this. You should be able to breathe, focus on pulling those abs in, and do that correctly before you move on to the first actual exercise. So a couple more breaths, engaging those abs, pulling the navel towards the spine on the exhale. Inhale through the nose. Let's do this one more time. Good work. Exhale, pull that belly in nice and tight. All right, so just relax there for a minute. For each of our exercises, you have to maintain that breath, okay? So really focus on maintaining this position, not allowing the position of the spine to change. So we're going to start with our first exercise here. The knees are bent, the feet are flat to the floor. These are sort of like heel slides. So she's going to start by extending one leg, sliding the heel out along the floor, and then pulling it back into that start position and flattening the foot down, then switching sides, extending the leg out, and then bringing it back in. You want to make sure you're breathing steady. We're going to inhale and push the leg out. Exhale, pull that belly in tight to return it. Now you'll probably feel a little bit of resistance with your leg on the floor, and that's okay. Good. Make sure you're breathing and thinking about holding this position nice and stationary. Exhale, scoop that belly in tight. So ideally, you'd work yourself up, doing as many of these as you can in good form before you move on to the next exercise. We're going to try a few more of these though. Exhale, come back in. Good work. Keep relaxing into that ball. A good point when you know that you can move on to the next exercise, you can continue, is to do about 20 of these. That's one on each side as a single repetition. So it takes a while to really build up that core strength. Good, how are we doing? All right so far? Inhale, extend. Good, exhale, scoop that belly in tight. All right, that'll be our last repetition for this video. Now we're going to move on to the next exercise. It's very similar. We're starting in the same position, except this time, as she extends her leg out, it's going to be hovering above the floor. So what we do is we're going to start by lifting that leg up into tabletop, knee in line with the hip, shin parallel to the floor. From there, she's going to begin to lower the foot out, just hovering above the floor. Bring the leg back into tabletop, drop the foot down, and switch sides. So we're going to lift the knee to the hip, extend the leg out, hovering above the floor, pull it back in, and release back down. So we're going to inhale, exhale, push out, inhale, come back in, exhale, drop the foot with control. All right, inhale, lift the knee up, exhale, scoop that belly in tight, straighten the leg. Inhale, come back to tabletop, knee to the hip, and drop down. That was just 2 repetitions, so we're gonna try a few more. But again, you wanna work up to having enough strength and control to do this properly with the breath, with good position for about 20 repetitions before you're really ready to move on to the next exercise, all right? We're just gonna try a few more here though. Good. And release. I'm gonna say maybe 3 more. So notice how Jen's moving really slowly and with control. It's not about moving quickly. You really want to focus on using the best quality movement that you can throughout your exercises. Good, really smooth. Inhale in and exhale down, keeping those abs engaged the whole time. The shoulders relaxed away from the ears. Remember, the leg does not touch the ground as you straighten that leg out. This one's a little more challenging than the first one where we kept the heel on the floor. Good. All right, last set here. I know you're probably feeling this already, right? Good, and exhale down. Inhale, lift tabletop. Exhale, push out. Inhale, back up to tabletop. And exhale to release. Just relax for a minute, take a couple deep breaths. We're moving on to the 3rd exercise once you've mastered the one that we just did. All right, so we're starting in this position. Draw those shoulders down. One at a time now. We're gonna lift the legs up to tabletop. Right leg and then left leg. From here, we're focusing on one leg at a time. She's gonna keep this bend at the knee. Think about hinging from the hip as if she's gonna drop her foot down into a pool of water, okay? Yeah, just like that, and then back up. Same leg. We'll inhale, drop down. Exhale, pull up. She's doing this one perfectly. Notice she keeps the 90-degree bend at the knee the whole time. She comes right back up in line with the hip. So this one is a little different than the first ones. Keeping the legs up like this as opposed to the feet on the floor, it's a lot more challenging to maintain that position. You never want the elbows to lift off of the mat. You never want your spine to arch or change position at all. So another thing that's important here is that you do not have to touch your toes all the way to the floor. If you can't do that in good form, just go as far as you can. 2 more on this leg. Inhale, lower. Exhale, knee to hip. Last one. Great job. All right, keeping that leg up, we're switching sides. Inhaling to drop the left foot down. Exhaling to come back up. So find your own range of motion as you're working on these. You don't have to touch your toes to the ground. That's something to work up to if you don't have enough control to do it. Think about using that deep breath, pulling the belly in as you exhale, keeping yourself pushed down into that ball. Good. We've got 5 more on this side. They're getting more challenging. And again, work up to about 20 on each leg before you move into this last exercise. We've got 3 more. This is 2, and here's our last one. Inhale, lower, exhale, back up. Go ahead and place those feet to the floor. Take a quick little break. Moving into the last one, it's gonna be more challenging, so we'll see how many we can do in good form. All right, once you're ready, maintain that nice neutral position with that spine, relax the head and neck. Now, let's see if this time we can lift both legs up to tabletop. That there is a little more challenging too. All right, keeping our legs in tabletop. We're gonna push one leg out at a time, hovering above the floor. So you're gonna lower a little bit more there. Good, and then back up. So switching sides now, she's going to inhale, extend that leg, and exhale, come back up. This one's a lot more challenging to maintain this really good form and not allow yourself to arch the back or lift off of the floor. Do your best to keep those legs up in that tabletop. Good. Now, if you have enough strength, you can lower your legs closer to the floor. It's up to you to work through a range that you're in control with. Just try not to let the heel or the foot touch the ground on this one, because that's where that challenge comes in. We all right so far? All right, let's try a few more. Tabletop with those legs, shins parallel to the floor. There you go. It's a lot to think about to do these in really good form. Inhale, extend, exhale, come up. What do you think? Can we do 3 more? All right, then we're done. This is as hard as it gets. These are really some of the best exercises you can do for your abs in pregnancy, and they're challenging for a reason. Your abs really tend to weaken as they separate as your belly grows, but these specific exercises can help you maintain that strength and muscle tone, and it'll help you rebuilding that core after pregnancy as well. All right, this is our last one then. One more on that side, tabletop with those legs, knees to the hips. Good, all right, one at a time, drop those legs down. All right, that was a workout, right?
Yes.
Okay, so those are some of the best exercises you can do for the abs throughout pregnancy and even into postpartum once you're cleared for exercise by your doctor. For more fitness and workout ideas during pregnancy, be sure to visit babyfit.com.